We love our sponsors like East San Gabriel Valley ROP. Visit them online at esgvrop.org. Sponsor us and we'll promote you on the show too. Email info@crowncitynews.com for more information. Now for the Morning Buzz. Two pro-life activists whose controversial undercover videos accuse Planned Parenthood doctors of selling fetal tissue were charged with 15 felonies by California prosecutors.
State Attorney General Xavier Becerra's office alleges that David Deladen and his teammate Sandra Merritt actually filmed 14 people without their consent in meetings with women's health care providers. Joining us now is history professor John Frykenberg to discuss the charges in this area. John, was a crime committed in this instance?
I don't know the answer to that, Derrick. That remains to be seen. They are investigative reporters, and they are investigating whether or not Planned Parenthood is directly selling baby parts or tissue. And even if they're not directly selling it, are they using our money, that's $500 billion a year, to subcontract other people so that they can deny the charges, but in fact are doing it because they are the major sponsors of abortions in the United States. So it's a real problem. So I don't know if a crime has been committed or not, but I can tell you that the issue that's being addressed is a very, very serious one.
So, but the issue here is, can we separate these? The issue is if I film you without your permission, that is a crime. Now, the other issue is whether or not that what's being done actually should be being done. And I'll buy the idea that we ought to be looking as to whether or not Planned Parenthood is doing this, but whether or not we ought to be filming people without their permission, isn't that itself an issue? Not the main issue even here, right?
I think that it probably is an issue, but if you see a crime being committed that is of such a horrendous scale that you cannot live with that, then whether you're willing to break the law or not, or even face the consequences, do you not have a moral duty to do exactly that? Well, it's a question that Planned Parenthood directly or indirectly is responsible for about 1.3 million abortions per year. So you talk about your pro-choice issue and your pro-life issue, but if in fact, as we've discovered, that they're injecting poison into the hearts of fetuses, or babies that are even born who should be transported to a hospital, and they indicate, well, it depends upon who's in the room afterwards, and are leaving the babies to die, I would call that murder.
Certainly, that you can call it murder.
And I was also thinking, I mean, it really is two separate situations. And right now, it's my understanding that legally, the recorder, the filmer, can't, if they have the understanding that they're filming something, it is legal to do this type of journalism. And so I think, in a way, we're going to be looking at a precedent whether or not this is going to be legal moving forward or not. But it doesn't change the fact that they were reporting information that they thought really needed to be uncovered. So
yeah, and you have to look at the politics of the charges being filed. Xavier Becerra is, you know, strongly supported by Planned Parenthood. So is there a political conflict? Should he recuse himself from even filing these charges? And I think probably that he should.
That he should recuse himself from bringing the charges?
Absolutely. Even as Attorney General, I think real conflict of interest here. It's way political. And you're dealing with a matter of life and death that's on the same scale as the genocide of the Jews in World War II. There's been 50 million babies that have been aborted in the last 50 years.
That's true, but let's talk about the underlying issue is whether or not women have a right to determine what happens with their body. And that's a discussion that we talk about not having or supporting abortion, but then we don't talk about what happened and who supports the children that are born to mothers and families that cannot afford them.
I understand that, and the women certainly have rights over their own bodies. And the but is, babies also have rights. They are human beings too. So I think that our courts, you know, we talk about, well, when is a baby a real human life or whatever. But the fact is that babies have rights, whether fetuses or not.
They actually have rights within estate planning.
They do.
They actually
They do.
It's
So
rather
as a result of
Well,
that,
this is a big
you know.
issue, and we're going to talk about it some more. John, thanks so
Okay.
much for coming in.
All right.
Absolutely. It's not going to go away fast.
No, it's not.
Coming up, we have a new CCN family member.
Yeah, Dr. Jeff Barkey joins us as our new medical segment star next.